Hey guys, Blitzy Talks here. So today's topic is surrounding the idea of delayed gratification. So in simple terms, this is just a more professional way of saying suffer in the short term for a long-term gain. A lot of young people and old people tend to immediately seek pleasure, whether it be in the form of going on the easy route for a problem and suffering the repercussions in the long run, or spend most of, or if not all, their paycheck on impulsive purchases instead of saying it's had some money for a rainy day or for any future goals. For me personally, I've always been the kind of person that prefers to delay my gratification. I want to retire early, so I know that I'm probably going to limit myself on vacations, on going out, on eating out, and these kind of things, right? And setting aside money and stowing it away into investment accounts and saving accounts, really to get to my goal. But I want to let everyone know that, I think you should struggle now to succeed later. Oftentimes in society, a lot of people take the easy way out, but here are a couple of reasons why you should struggle now. For me, I started my YouTube channel recently, but if I had done it any later, I might have always been asking myself, what if? And even now, I ask myself, what if I had started this channel earlier when I was in university? Would it be bigger now? Would I be making money? I don't know, right, at the end of the day. But I feel as though a lot of people don't take risks or learn anything when they're really young, and they just want to just cruise. And nothing's necessarily wrong with that. But when you're young, now is really the time to learn and to grow as a person. And by trying new things, you limit yourself to that what if question when you're old, or that regret that you feel by not trying something or not have done anything. Sometimes I still feel this way when I think about high school, for instance, where I wish I had tried, or what if I had tried, a sports team, or what if I joined more clubs and did different things. Sometimes a lot of people don't really consider that until it's too late. But by really, stepping out of your comfort zone and doing things now and struggling now, you might open up better opportunities down the road. Next is financial security. So if you were to delay yourself in terms of, buying things that you really, really want now, you really are setting yourself up for success, whether it be through putting money through a savings account for an emergency fund or for whatever goal may be, investing for the future, or just generally working hard and building a good work ethic. At the end of the day, if you were to do all these things now, it really sets you up for success and really helps you get rid of that whole worry of paycheck to paycheck sort of thing. So in my case, I want to get a brand new car down the road. Right now I drive a 2010 Forester Subaru, but it's got like 200,000 kilometers, and it's not super great, but I know that I could get a brand new car now if I really wanted to. I have a partner, and I have a pretty decent income and good savings, so I'm not overly worried, but at the end of the day, I feel as though I just don't really want to deal with the stress of having to pay so many bills. And so by setting aside the cash that I normally would have paid towards a car payment and putting it into an investment account, I feel that down the road I'll be able to buy the car, a brand new car that I want, probably in cash, or at least mostly in cash. And so I just get rid of that stress down the road. And right now the car's serving me well, but eventually I will replace it. But this way I don't have to worry about any sort of repercussions in the sense of being over leveraged and having too much debt. And that just takes a huge weight off my shoulders. A lot of people job hop, and for me personally, I feel as though I kind of agree with this as long as the circumstances allow for it. But oftentimes, if you actually stick with the job long enough, it could feel very slow at first. Don't get me wrong, I still feel that way even now sometimes. But things will snowball, and you'll get you into better opportunities and even bigger opportunities, right? Potentially a management position or bigger raises, or even maybe this will allow you to job hop into something even better if you stick around a little bit longer and become promoted or get a senior title. But at the end of the day, the key thing here is persisting and really pushing forward. You don't want to be like the other people out there who just don't stick around long enough, and the good opportunities don't come to them because they just aren't patient enough. So by sticking around, you really are able to grow in a role, and you'll be able to find the opportunities first. At the end of the day, companies will reward people that stick around a little bit longer sometimes. It depends on the company, of course, but generally that's the case. But by sticking it out, you really can roll into better opportunities. I also want to talk about compounding rewards. So in my case, I invest a lot of money per month. And, I've realized that as I've kind of invested more and more and just consistently done so, it's gotten a lot easier to invest. For me, my investments have compounded a crazy amount. And I imagine, the more I do it and the longer it goes, I'll be able to retire much earlier. And simply my investments, which is making more money by themselves than me actually putting money in. But really, this is a great thing to have. And on top of this, too, outside of investing, skills is another great way. You never know what could happen. For instance, I started learning coding back when I was in high school, and I never thought I'd touch it again. But now here I am learning more and more languages as the days go by. And I felt like it's been a lot easier to learn other languages simply just because of the first language I ever learned. And lastly, I want to talk about freedom later. So again, I really want to retire earlier, but by temporarily sacrificing certain, short-term pleasures like vacations, trips, these kind of things, a new car, whatever it may be, I choose to be able to have freedom, much, much earlier. For me, that's really, really valuable. For some people, it might not be, but of course, everyone's different. Personal finance is personal. So I do think, though, that we would all prefer to be somewhat free and not be, bound by a job or bound by a certain mortgage or a car payment, whatever that may be. If you are to suffer now, this will really enable you to be free from those chains down the road. So that's everything for me, guys, today. I hope you enjoyed the video. Again, I've been trying to post every Friday and hopefully making these videos better and better each time. I really appreciate those who actually watch my videos and comment. I really, really appreciate it. But yeah, again, I'll see you guys next week. Thanks.